um, very unusual start for a young man coming from Louisiana and not having any show business background at all, of course, and just had an innate ability to play the drums. Started out on trash cans, cans, and not with knives and forks, and sort of elevated my drum set as I learned, and finally got so good that I began to be known as Keith Thibodeaux, pound for pound, the greatest drummer around.
Which is perfect. It really is.
Yeah.
So, how did that even happen, even at that level, at that age? Was it your parents that sort of got you out there and people started to see you and hear what you could do at such a young age, Keith? How were you getting those connections so early? Most kids are on the corner and their publicity is the lemonade stand.
Exactly, and I rode my little stick horse and played in the sandbox with the other kids, but on the side, I would jump on the metal trash cans, which they had back in those days, and I started beating on these trash cans in the backyard, and a neighbor lady heard me playing and constantly playing on the trash can, and she said, "I think you need to get your son a set of drums because he's got rhythm." And I hear rhythm coming from your son. So that materialized into a Christmas, toy drum, and then I wanted a real drum, and then I would go to parades and I listened to the bands play, and on the radio, the big bands on the radio, I would, that's about all we had back in those days, and then finally, the audition for the Horse Heights show came up, and it was a sort of like a Ted Mack amateur hour type of thing that he did, where he'd call it something like youth opportunity, where he develop try to find local talent in different cities across the nation, and he came to Lafayette, Louisiana, and found me, and I joined his touring entourage, and my first booking was in Durham, North Carolina, with the band, and then it went on.
That is really, really amazing at such a young age as well. And then your father took you, I guess, you had to head to California. You were on an audition for the part of Little Ricky back in 1955. And didn't you walk on set and there was Lucille Ball, who, I'm sure looked like a giant because she was so tall and standing there. And she looked at you and said something to the effect of, okay, he's cute. What does he do?
Yeah, yeah, and so my dad said, "Well, he plays the drums," and she said, "Oh, come on, well, we've got to see this." So there was a set of drums on the set, which Desi had his orchestra, his drummer, and she said, "Go over there and let him play." And so I did, and started playing, and started just hitting the drums, and finally all the people on the set started coming around, and the well-known producer Sheldon Leonard, who filmed at Desilu, he came over and was enjoying the racket, I guess. And then finally, Desi himself, Desi Arnaz Sr., came up, and Ricky Ricardo to other people, and
Right.
started playing with me on the drums, and after about couple minutes playing, he stood up and laughed and said, "I think we found Little Ricky."